Hear ye. The United States District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin is now open. The Honorable Judge Brett H. Ludwig presiding. All persons having business before this honorable court are admonished to draw near and give their attention, for the court is now in session. God save the United States and this honorable court. Please be seated.
The court calls the special matter of the admission of Marquette law graduates for the admission to practice in the Eastern District of Wisconsin.
So good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Brett Ludwig. I am the junior district court judge here in the Eastern District of Wisconsin. On behalf of my colleagues, Chief Judge Pam Pepper, District Judges Joe Statmuller and Lynn Edelman, Senior District Judge William C. Griesbach, and our magistrate judges Nancy Joseph, Bill Duffin, and Steve Dries. Let me welcome you to the courthouse and welcome you to Judge Edelman's courtroom, which I am stealing for a few hours or for a brief period this morning. Judge Pepper is in Washington, D.C. this week for meetings, so she asked me to handle this swearing in her place. I'm honored to do so. So let's not beat around the bush. I understand there may be a motion that I should entertain.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. My name is Joseph Kearney, as Your Honor knows, and as Dean of the Law School, I have this privilege annually, thanks to judges such as you, to move the admission of various recent graduates of the law school. Also joining me at this front table are two people. To my immediately left is Ms. Karen Tidwell, who is the representative of the Eastern District of Wisconsin Bar Association, and with Your Honor's permission, will make remarks at the end of the ceremony. And to my farther left, Gregory Boyer, who is a Marquette lawyer, duly admitted to the practice of law in this court, and interested, always with Your Honor's permission, in moving the admission of his son, Alexander Boyer, to the practice before I make my own motion.
Okay. Mr. Boyer?
May it please the court, Gregory Boyer from Providence, Rhode Island, admitted 1985 to Wisconsin and also to the Federal Eastern District of Wisconsin. I'd like to make a motion at this time to admit my son Alexander Boyer to the Eastern District in Wisconsin as a graduate of Marquette University Law School, and I know him to be of good moral character.
Motion is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Ludwig, and may it please the court. It is a great privilege for me to appear today before Your Honor in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. As a member of the court's bar, I ask the admission of various Marquette lawyers. I had the privilege yesterday of moving their admission, or in Mr. Boyer's case, watching their admission moved, and that was in Madison yesterday, so I can represent that these are, if not quite veteran attorneys, then at least duly licensed lawyers in the state of Wisconsin. It is equally welcome and no less a privilege for me to appear before Your Honor today. For, as Your Honor knows, the federal trial courts are an essential part of our legal system, our justice system, our government. In fact, the federal courts antedate the Wisconsin Supreme Court, having been established by the United States Congress in one of its first undertakings, the Judiciary Act of 1789. Since that time, they have been a bulwark of the rule of law. This may have been initially so with respect to the protection of non-residents in civil litigation as provided by Congress, and that, of course, remains the case today under the purview of 28 U.S.C. 1332. Yet, for perhaps their greatest office, federal district courts have also addressed themselves to the protection of various civil rights that, as established by the Civil War and in its aftermath, belong to us not simply as Wisconsinites or as citizens of a particular state, but as Americans. Your Honor, not just as a federal judge, but as someone well knowledgeable about the law, scarcely needs a tutorial on the matter. In short, the federal courts have played an indispensable role in ensuring that our society is both ordered and free. So it is right that these lawyers should want the privilege of practicing here, it seems to me, and it is with great respect for your honor in this court that I ask the admission of these individuals whose names the clerk has. Permit me respectfully to submit my motion.
Are there any objections? Motion is granted. So one last bit of housekeeping. Before we can formally admit you, I need to administer the oath. I would ask all of the subjects of the motion to please rise. Raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I will try to take this slowly, so repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that to the best of my knowledge
that to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will demean myself
and that I will demean myself
as attorney and counselor
as attorney and counselor
of the United States District Court
of the United States District Court
for the Eastern District of Wisconsin,
for the Eastern District of Wisconsin,
uprightly
uprightly
and according to law.
and according to law.
Congratulations. You are now formally admitted to practice before the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. The clerk has your admission certificates. You can pick those up at the end of the proceeding today. Please be seated. I have just a few comments. Mostly comments of introduction. So I guess let me start by saying congratulations on getting through law school. You've had 3 years of classes and exams, including during COVID, so you have my sympathies for that. And now is actually the hard part, practicing law. You have to take all of those legal principles and case holdings that you learned and apply them to real-life cases and controversies for real clients with real judges in real courtrooms like this. Moot court, trial practice, those are days of the past. Now you get to deal in the real world. But all this is the hard part, and it's also the fun part. Welcome to the Eastern District and to the courthouse. This can sometimes be a pretty sleepy building. If you notice, there's not a lot of people. There are not a lot of people roaming around. It's unlike the Milwaukee County Courthouse, which has a lot more traffic. And that's the nature of our federal system, I guess. How many of you have been in the federal courthouse before? 2 of you, all right. Well, welcome. This courthouse was, construction began in 1892. The lot was actually purchased through a condemnation proceeding in 1890. The entire courthouse was completed in 7 years, so it opened in 1899 at a cost of about $1.4 million. I don't know what that would be in today's money, but a lot more. It was originally called the United States Post Office, Court, and Customs House. When you go outside and you look in our atrium and you look at the first floor, that used to all be post office space. And the post office clerks had little cubicles there. In between the second floor and the first floor, there is a little secret space that has windows that the postal inspectors used to crawl into and look out to make sure people weren't stealing from the mail. That was a major concern at the time. post office had the entire first floor. The second floor was the floor of the courts. This courtroom, we call this ceremonial courtroom, was the original courtroom for the United States Circuit Court, which was not the Circuit Court of Appeals that we think of the Seventh Circuit at that time yet, I think. It was actually had some trial court responsibilities. The appellate system kind of came in later. There was also a district court courtroom, which is next door over here. That courtroom went out of use, but it was restored in the last 15 years, and it's now kind of a neat, we call it the historic courtroom. If you have a chance, you can peek in over there. I think Judge Edelman is presiding in some cases over there while I'm using his courtroom here. But that was the original district court courtroom, where Judge Andrew G. Miller presided. He was the first United States district judge for the territory of Wisconsin, and then he was the first district judge for the state of Wisconsin, and then when Wisconsin was divided into two different districts, Eastern District, Western District, he became the first district judge in the Eastern District of Wisconsin. I actually hold his seat. I think I'm the 12th judge to hold that seat. Anyway, we have today in this courtroom, or in this courthouse, 4 full-time district court judges. So Judge Edelman sits here. My courtroom is on the other side of the atrium on the second floor. That's called the Centennial Courtroom because it was built 100 years after the courthouse opened. Judge Pepper is down on the second floor, and she's the chief judge. And then Judge Statmuller is 2 floors up on the 4th floor. To the extent you ever have to come here to file something, the clerk's office is also on the 2nd floor. They're behind us. That's in the new part of the building, which was built in the late 1920s. So that's the new part. We also have a senior district court judge, Bill Griesbach, who is up in Green Bay. He took senior status. We're in the process of trying to confirm his replacement. I don't know where that stands. They're hopefully moving that forward. We also have 3 magistrate judges. Their courtrooms are down on the 2nd floor. There's also 1 part-time magistrate judge, Judge Sickle, up in Green Bay. And then we have 2 recalled or retired magistrate judges on the 7th floor in the back of the building. They do mediations. So those are all people that you may get to know. We also have 4 bankruptcy judges in this district, and the bankruptcy judge, or the bankruptcy court clerk's office. Those are all down on the 1st floor in the new part of the building. So that's a little bit of a geography lesson when you come here. Again, when you're done with the ceremonies today, walk around. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. You should get to know it. I'll also add a few words about the Marquette tradition here in this courthouse. It is lengthy. We have, by my count, at least 5 district court judges in the history of this court who are Marquette law grads. Judge Tian graduated from Marquette University Law School in 1929. Judge Terry Evans graduated in 1967. He then later was promoted to the 7th Circuit. Judge Tom Curran graduated from Marquette, I believe, in 1948. Judge Statmuller graduated from Marquette in 1967, and then Judge Griesbach graduated from Marquette in 1976. So that's 5. Chief Judge Sykes, who's the Chief Judge of the 7th Circuit, so she's sort of my boss. She graduated from Marquette as well. She's up on the 7th floor she has chambers on the 7th floor in the new part of the building. But in addition to those judges, we've had many, many skilled practitioners that have graced these courtrooms from Marquette. They are known for showing up prepared, for knowing the law, for knowing the rules, for conducting themselves in the utmost professional fashion. Please keep up that tradition. It's important. Marquette lawyers are also known for their commitment to public service. You may be asked to continue in that vein as well. As lawyers of this court, you will sometimes be asked to accept recruitment to represent otherwise pro se litigants who can't afford counsel. A very large part of my civil docket consists of civil rights cases filed by people who can't afford lawyers. We can't appoint a lawyer in every one of those cases. We don't have enough lawyers. But our typical practice is to allow those cases to proceed. We will, and to the point where a lawyer is absolutely necessary. Oftentimes, those are cases that that survive summary judgment, and then we will recruit lawyers to help that person, that plaintiff, get through trial. When you are called upon, I would ask you to accept that recruitment if at all possible. We don't force it, although there was some movement to require that as part of admission to the bar. We've not gone that far because so far lawyers have been generous and have been accepting the recruitments, but it's important. If you have time, don't wait to be called. Affirmatively volunteer. These are really important cases for the people involved. They can be great opportunities for young lawyers to get trial experience. We don't try a lot of cases in court anywhere anymore, especially in federal court. But we do have a fair amount of Section 1983 would-be pro se cases where volunteer lawyers step up and try the case. It's a great way to get your first chance to try a case in this courtroom with a jury in that jury box. So think about that. So with all that said, welcome to the courthouse. Please keep up the Marquette tradition. With all of that said, I guess I'll turn it over. Do you want to say something about the Eastern District Bar, Karen?
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize for having my back to you guys.
You want to come up to the witness box? I'll swear you in.
I
No.
do. I promise to tell the truth about this wonderful association. Good morning and congratulations. What a great accomplishment that you've done, and I know all those proud parents back there must be feeling incredibly pleased and happy with their students. So welcome to the Eastern District Bar Association, or the Eastern District Bar. I am the incoming president of the Eastern District Bar Association. So I have been involved in the association for 20 plus years, and I want to talk to you really briefly about the association and what a great group it is. I really encourage you after this event to come on over to our table and sign up and become a member. And I'll tell you a little bit about why. Just to describe it generally, the association is a specialty bar association. That is, it's specifically devoted to this Eastern District, the Eastern District of Wisconsin, and dedicated to serving the needs of all of those who practice here in the federal courts. We are, as an association, committed to improving the administration of justice, fostering professionalism, as Judge Ludwig mentioned, and assisting with bench bar relations within the Eastern District. The association has been in existence since 2002, and currently we have close to record-breaking numbers for our members. So we have 650 members, which is fantastic. Those members primarily practice in the areas of criminal, civil, and bankruptcy, but all are welcome. You don't have to be practicing in those areas to become a member. There is active participation from the judges and from court staff, which is such an amazing benefit to being involved in this association. One example is that the judges give of their time and spend an hour and a half having lunch with the members of the association from time to time, so we can sit in the judges' chambers and hear about a federal court judge's background, how they got to the bench, their tips and tricks for how to practice in front of them effectively. It is an amazing experience, and it's such an opportunity for growth as an attorney. And you don't find that everywhere, and that's one of the really special things about becoming a member of the association. We have a very close collaboration with the Marquette Law School, always have. Some of you may be members or be aware of the Federal Practice Society, which is at Marquette. In addition, the association sponsors many CLEs each year that are interesting, varied, and count towards your CLE requirements. We have bench bar lunches, and then we also have just social networking events where you can build those professional and personal relationships with other lawyers, and then, also, again, get to know the judges on a slightly more personal level. We have an annual meeting each spring. Our annual meeting is this Thursday. There's still time to sign up if you're interested. We always have a very interesting, powerful keynote speaker, and then we have breakout sessions where you can learn more, and then a luncheon. So I recommend that to you if you don't have anything else going on Thursday. I know you guys aren't very busy right now. We have a quarterly newsletter, which is very fun. If you enjoy writing, non-legal writing, you can propose an article, something you're interested in that's related to the law, that others may find interesting, and that's kind of a fun way to keep those creative juices flowing and also contribute to the Bar Association members' reading enjoyment. We have very active committees, and it's very easy to get involved in the committees and become a part of this group. It's not exclusionary. There's no, we're looking for enthusiastic, wonderful folks like you to come on in and be a part of. It really creates a connection with the court, and then to the extent you're going to go into litigation and practice within these courts, there is a feeling of belonging and being a part of, and being part of the larger system that Dean Kearney and the judge have spoken about so eloquently this morning. There is a complimentary membership for 1 year for those graduating from law school, for all of you. So it's free for a year. So no reason not to sign up. And then just quickly, some of the benefits I've already mentioned, the close relationship, the networking opportunities, professional development. Judge Ludwig mentioned the pro bono opportunities, extremely important. Part of our mission and part of our, I believe, vocation or calling as attorneys is to give back, right? So we are extremely lucky to be in the position we're in, and to give back to those that don't have representation is very powerful and very important, and the Eastern District Bar Association is engaged in those efforts. And then finally, community involvement. We have mentoring and internship programs that help we have a youth program where we have active lawyers sponsoring or mentoring youth, and that's a great way to get involved if that's where your gifts lie as well. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me. We will be in the back with applications, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. So again, congratulations.
Thank you, Karen. Anything else for the good of the order?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, well, it was an honor to have sworn all of you into the federal bar today, federal court bar. I look forward to seeing all of you in my courtroom soon. And even if it's not in the courtroom, if you see me on the street, you can come up and say hi and say, didn't you swear me in? My wife also asked me to say, so my wife is Melissa Blydorn. She is an adjunct at Marquette. She teaches contract drafting and real estate transactions, although I think she may have gone off the real estate transactions a path for a while, taking a break from that. But have any of you had her?
Your Honor, if I may, we have a tradition of adjuncts coming and going, and sometimes when they go, they come back a couple of years later.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. I have a proxy that is taking care of that. So anyway, my wife says hi to all of you. She was going to come down this morning, and then something else came up at home, so she wasn't able to make it, but she asked me to send her regards. Anyway, thank you all for coming in today. I look forward to working with you, because it is a joint relationship between the bench and the bar. We need to make sure that justice is administered fairly and efficiently. So I look forward to working with all of you. I will adjourn the session, but I will stick around if some of you want pictures of a guy in a robe and while you're in your suits next to some flags. I'll stick around for that. All right, but we're adjourned. We're adjourned. You can be seated.
If you just want to come up for the certificates, please. whenever-
Yes, you do need to collect your certificate at some point.
What is your name? What is the